Welcome to part number 3 on this series of the Gene Keys. Today we're going to dive into the art and practice of contemplation, which is very central to the Gene Keys. It's actually how you begin to unlock the wisdom that is contained with each of the Gene Keys within your hologenetic profile. So by now, hopefully you've pulled up your free profile, and you're looking at these 11 spheres, the line numbers, the key words, and maybe you're just feeling a little bit overwhelmed. You're wondering, where do I begin? Well, in this video, I want to show you how you begin your Gene Keys practice in a way that's gentle, grounded, yet transformational. Now, like I mentioned, contemplation is at the heart of the Gene Keys journey. This isn't about intellectually studying or memorizing. It's actually much deeper than that. It invites in a level of presence, of patience, of gentleness with ourselves. It's slowing down, turning inward, and allowing insight to arise through presence. It lives between meditation and inquiry. We're not trying to change or fix anything. We're learning to see ourselves more clearly, feel more deeply, and meet life with an awareness. And the Gene Keys, they aren't something that you do, they're something that you embody and that you live into. As you read through the transmissions in the Gene Keys book, if you listen to the audio contemplations, all of the wisdom contained in here is essentially a transmission to your soul, and they are layered teachings. You may read one of your Gene Keys one time and then come back to it 2 years later and see it from a whole different perspective. As someone that's been working with this wisdom for close to a decade, I can tell you very confidently that as I've gone through this journey, I've gone through the different sequences, the golden path, and through this, I have come to learn many different aspects of myself that I may have not seen previous. And so it's like a spiral, just like the growth journey. These teachings are very layered. And so where do we begin in our profile? Well, we begin in our activation sequence. And our activation sequence, if you remember from the first video, is all about discovering your creative genius and your higher purpose. And the first sphere in our profile right at the top is going to be your life's work. And your life's work is significant about what you're here to do in the world, and really more so about the reason you do what you do. And so this is all about the outer world and about what you are bringing to the world. And so we'll start, and I'll use mine an example, Gene Key 38. And Gene Key 38 is the shadow of struggle, the gift of perseverance, and the city of honor. And so this entire spectrum, just this Gene Key alone, not even including the line number, we can spend multiple weeks just diving into both the shadow, the gift, and the city. And so again, this is not a rushed process. Now, I really want to bring through this sort of 3-phase contemplation journey that you take. And so when we're starting in our shadow, right, there's going to be a lot of perhaps triggering words and language that comes up that brings forth this shadow. And the shadow is essentially something that has just been dormant. We haven't shined our light on it. And in classic shadow work, these are parts of ourselves that we have repressed and suppressed. Now, in this case, this is a shadow that's contained within your genetic code. And so it may not always be seen. But as you read through, you can, if you're a pretty self-aware person, start picking up on the cues. And just this is about observation. Notice how the shadow shows up in your life, in your work, in your health, in your relationships, and all the different phases of your life. Where are you still reactive, judgmental, in fear? And really what this process is about is bringing compassion and gentleness, grace, love, acceptance to ourself. It's not about going and trying to fix anything. It's literally just about bringing that compassionate energy to ourself. The next sort of part 2 of this 3-phase contemplative process is reflect. And this is all about going into the gift. What strength is hidden inside this shadow that you've just revealed? How might this challenge be shaping your genius? These are questions to ask yourself. And my guess is after you read this, you're like, yeah, I've seen glimpses of this gift. I've seen this manifest in different parts of my life, but maybe I'm still tethered to the shadow. Well, this is a process of transmutation and transformation, of alchemy that happens over time. And the third phase of this three-phase process is surrender. And we're moving to the Siddhi. Now, this isn't this Siddhic frequency is not something that we try to strive for. We're not trying to get to this place of enlightenment. There we miss the point. It's really about letting this energy wash over you and surrender to it. Feel its presence. Let it remind you of who you truly are at your core. You may not experience the fullness of it in that moment, but as you go through this Gene Keys journey, you may have sporadic insights, inspirations, breakthroughs that happen that catapult you into a higher state of awareness. And really, the core piece that ties the contemplation process together is the breath. Something that, if you've tuned into all my work, a very foundational piece of everything I do revolves around breath. And why does breath matter in the contemplative process? Well, breath slows you down first and foremost. It brings you from a sympathetic to a parasympathetic state in which you are calm, relaxed, focused, and present. And from that place of presence, you could begin to get flooded with certain insights, reflections about yourself. And most importantly, the breath acts as a catalyst to awaken the latent potential within your DNA. Whereas if we, and you can watch another video on this where I talk about the metaphysics of breath, but using and working with the light body and also the cerebral spinal fluid that is within us, that is beginning to wash over and to create an experience in which we begin to open and awaken. And so the breath is very much tied into this. And in many of the groups that I run with the Gene Keys and share this wisdom, through the contemplation journey, we weave together these different breathwork sessions and experiences. It's because it begins to unlock. It's almost like the key to the door, and it unlocks the higher frequencies to come through. Now, in a daily practice, this could look like basically journaling about your gene key as you go through the book. How is this shadow alive in your life today? What is one small shift you can make from fear to trust? And really begin to see how these gifts are beginning to show up in your life. And then breathe that energy in. Use the Beats and Breath app, our breathwork app, to tune into a specific frequency into your body. Notice how your relationships are changing, and as they are mirrors for both your shadows and your gifts. You know, transformation doesn't come through force, it comes through presence. And so, really take your time with this process. And of course, if you have any questions, you know, you can reach out. You can also dive deeper into my Gene Keys offerings, in which I can support you in this process and personalize this process to you. And you know, really, at the end of the day, um, there's no rush. There is no rush. We are all on this journey together, and these are teachings that you can carry with you for the rest of your life that will support you in becoming the greatest version of yourself and really anchoring into your soul essence. And so as we move through the series, we'll go into exploring each of the sequences a little bit deeper. But in the meantime, if you have any questions, or again, you know, first leave a comment below. And again, if you want to dive deeper, you can go to the links that are in this description. And hopefully I will see you in one of my containers soon. Take care. Much love. Positive energy. Peace.